for this election. And so he goes on The View, which is a mistake. So let's just hear what they got to say first.
Well, that's kind of getting into my question.
Yeah.
Governor, you've taken a little bit of a victory lap over the fact that for more than a year, you were predicting that Joe Biden would not be the Democratic nominee in 2024. You called that one. But last time you were here, you also insisted that Trump absolutely would not be the nominee, and here we are. So why weren't Republicans able to do what Democrats were able to do, which is taking someone for different reasons that they didn't feel could maybe win or was fit out?
So a couple of things. We tried, right? I mean, I got behind Nikki. I wish more people got behind Nikki. We made it close. He almost won New Hampshire. And we actually forced Trump to actually have a race in over like half the states in the country. We made him, we made the voters decide. Now, again, the Republican voters in the primary chose Trump, not who I wanted for sure. He was like my 15th choice out of 30.
All right. I'm sorry. Let me go back. I got kids here. There was a point that I wanted to see.
Yeah, but now you have a black woman. That's a big change.
Well, sure, on both sides, right? I think it's different.
Yeah, but now you have a black woman. That's a big change.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. We don't like this guy either. We don't like the bombastic. We don't like some of the policy. But, boy, we need a change. And that's what they want. They want a disruption out of Washington. They're tired of the elitism, the same types of people getting in there. And that's where they, well, sure, on both sides, right? I think it's different.
Yeah, but now you have a black woman. That's a big change.
Yeah.
God.
Sensational.
Identity politics. Now you have a black woman. What does that have to do with what she's going to do for the country? Now you've got to change. Now you got a black woman. So I'm supposed to vote for her because she's black? Bro, this is the problem that I'm having. In general, me as a person, if I'm going to work for somebody or somebody wants to work for me, I don't care about your skin color. I don't care about your religion. I only care about what you're able to do, right? For example, I've hired people from the Philippines, but basically, like, I'll hire someone from anywhere. So Philippines, I'll hire somebody from Jamaica, I'll hire somebody from America, as long as it makes sense financially for me and they're going to do the job and take my business to the next level. I don't care about color. This is what these people care about. And then they're the first ones to tell you when somebody talks about Kamala Harris not being black, oh my God. But you are the ones that brought up race. The Democratic Party is the ones that bring up race all the time. For example, Trump just went to that black journalist thing and they brought up DEI. And then they clipped it up when he said, well, it was kind of funny. Now she's a black woman. She wants to be black. She's Jamaican, right? So, a lot of Jamaicans don't even like to claim black. But she's way more in tune with her Indian side. That's all he said. He's saying the same thing that most people are saying. But just because she's a black woman doesn't mean that she just automatically deserves my vote. That's all I'm saying. Let me get to this next part of the clip. At 5 minutes.
Choice out of 13 candidates. The challenge I think Democrats have, let's talk about what's really going on in the last couple of weeks here. So the Democrat voters all voted for Joe Biden. And then a couple of elites said, yeah.
Well, they voted for Harris, too. She was on the ticket.
Yeah, understood. That's
No, they did not, Sonny Hostin. No, they did not. They voted for Joe Biden. You see the excuses that these Democrats make? You just made an excuse for overthrowing the democracy. You just made an excuse for overthrowing part of the primary process. No. People don't really care about the vice president, right? They voted for Joe Biden. You see how she's so nasty with it? Well, they also voted for Kamala Harris. Just 2 weeks ago, you were like shaking in your boots, definitely the spew, when they didn't even know who their candidate was. They were praying that, like, they just please pick Kamala Harris. Don't skip over her. And then it didn't matter who they would have picked because they would have went on with anybody. Because this party is a bunch of sheep.
Sensational.
They're like a bunch of sheeps. They just follow along. They don't ask no questions. They just believe everything that they hear. Look at her face. Let me go ahead and get close up on this, right? I want y'all to see Sunny Hostin's face when she says this. Look how mad she is. Oh, she's mad. because this man's about to point out the real deal about what just happened with the Democratic Party.
Going on in the last couple of weeks here. So the Democrat voters all voted for Joe Biden. And then a couple of elites said, yeah.
Well, they voted for Harris, too. She was on the ticket.
Yeah, understood. That's right. But they voted for him.
Look, and then they hit the little clap button up there in the view, right? This is not a station. And Governor Chris from New Hampshire, this is not a station and a show that you go on to be objective or have any kind of support for Trump. Because I've watched about 20 minutes of this clip. And every time that there's a point made that validates the view, they hit that clap button, they clap. And they don't let this guy articulate his thoughts. He says one thing, it's an emotional reaction, and then it's done. He just pointed out, well, look what the Democrats just did. Meanwhile, if you didn't watch this particular show, which if you don't watch The View, you know, you're saving yourself some brain cells. But he also talked about how he was not rocking with Trump, how he's not really a big fan of Trump in the beginning, and they let him talk. They let him talk, they let him get it across, and then they put in their little quick stabs and jabs. But when he's being objective, and he's saying, well, look at what the Democrat Party just did, right? They just threw Joe Biden under the bus. She goes, well, they voted for Harris, too. They didn't care about Kamala Harris. You guys are not going to act like Joe Biden doesn't have a base. Just because the Democrats want to erase the fact that you had a horrible candidate and he's incapable of running for the next 4 years and he's old, doesn't mean you can just throw away his base. He has a base as well. And y'all Democrats might end up learning y'all lesson come election time. Hopefully some of these Joe Biden people get pissed off that y'all just threw him under the bus like that, which I'm sure they won't because they're delusional. But anyways, listen to how they talk. They don't even care. They voted for Harris. No, they don't care about Kamala Harris. She didn't even get any votes in her primary. She had to back out. Like, y'all better stop acting like history hasn't already done what history has done. She got booted out of the primaries. Y'all don't want to talk about that. Y'all don't want to talk about the fact she got booted out of them primaries. All right. Let's go to the next point. Because it gets worse. It gets worse. I would never go on this show. This show is absolutely horrible.
Something that's a little more
Let me
disenfranchised.
flip it if I could. What if I said, you know what, Trump, you're losing in the polls now. And, you know, we have another candidate, and the head of the Republican National Committee and myself and a bunch of others say, you're out. We're just going to instill Nikki Haley now because the polls aren't
I wish
good.
we had a party
Right?
that could operate that way.
But that would be awful. But everyone has to accept that would be awful
They can't
for
do that because
America.
the convention happened already.
Yeah.
Did you hear what he said? He said that would be awful for America. If, man, could you imagine, right? Imagine with me, right? Could you imagine the left-wing media seeing Donald Trump get thrown up under his party like they just did Joe Biden? They would be calling him weak. They would say he's not in control of his party. That's what he deserves. All of the smoke would come and turn into fire for Donald Trump. But when Joe Biden does it, the cult-like minds go, oh, that's an admirable thing. He's saving the country. He's saving his party. But if it happened to Donald Trump, I guarantee y'all would call him weak. Y'all would run and have a political fest, a liberal media fest, if Donald Trump got overthrown in his party. Governor Chris just pointed out, what if this happened to Trump? And then the one girl says, I wish it would be. He said, but that would be horrible for this country. Why? Because we live in a democratic country where our votes are supposed to matter. And your Democratic Party basically just said, forget y'all votes that y'all voted for Joe Biden. Forget the fact that there should be an open election and we're going to select who you're going to have. And you sheep are going to follow. And what did the sheep do? They followed.
Sensational.
They followed. So let's get to it, right? I want to get to this other video and then I want to go ahead and get off this thing. Let's react to this.
You're a Republican, and you'll vote for whoever the Republican candidate is, even though I glean from what you've been saying that you don't respect him and you think he's stupid, but you're going to vote for him anyway. But but that's okay because you're into policy and the party.
Let's throw the jabs in, right? And then let's throw the claps in. Watch through this whole clip how they clap at a certain time and they'll boo at a certain time, and they won't let this guy, Governor Chris, really articulate his thoughts. They won't let him actually talk. They only let him get across a point without being able to get to explain himself.
I get it. All
I
right.
want a fundamental change. Yeah.
Okay, but Chris Christie is a Republican who came on this show and said he will not vote for Trump again. The Republican mayor of Mesa, Arizona, came out this week Mesa to endorse Kamala Harris and urged other Republicans to choose country over party and vote against Donald Trump, even if it's just this one time to get rid of him. And Mike Pence, his own vice president,
A friend of
said
yours.
and a friend of yours, and a nice guy, and in a certain way a hero because of what he did or what he didn't do. Are they just less dedicated Republicans than you?
No, look, every American, everyone, whether you're in politics or sitting in the audience here, everyone has a different life experience, a different set of priorities. Some people think January 6th is an absolute disqualifier. I'm not going to judge you for that. It was horrible, right? It was terrible, right? Or the election now is a disqualifier. I might disagree. My priorities.
Look at Whoopi Goldberg. I can't stand her, man. Look, she's just ready. She's so ready to give her opinionated wrong comment. She's just ready to come in there.
Are inflation, cost of living, the homelessness crisis, the border.
Can you say that one more time, Governor Chris?
Cost of living, the homelessness crisis, the border. Other people have your audience. A lot of people are worrying how they're going to pay the bills. They want something to change. So my message is this. Let's stop judging, well, he's doing this and she's doing that. Why don't you do this? Let's respect. Everyone has a different experience.
I get that.
And don't judge people who they're voting for.
Governor, what about...
Come on, man. Get this man a horn. He's trying to tell y'all to look past all the BS and let's just get down to the wax and tax part of things. The wax and tax part of things. Like, let's talk about the real problems and policies. That's what he's talking about. But you're on a panel full of women, man. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to gossip, and maybe their priorities aren't the same. And they're going to talk about personalities and why they like his hair over that guy's toupee. Like, come on, man.
The part where we know that he wants to take certain rights away from people, from women, from black people, from people...
Whoa, wait a minute.
Sensational.
He never said he's about to take rights away from women and black people. Show me that. You got to prove that, man. You see how they sit up here and lie? And then they're about to clap because they're hitting the clap button on this show. He never said he's trying to take rights away from women. He said he's putting it he's putting it with the states when it comes to abortion. He's not trying to take away women's right to work. He's not trying to take women's rights for freedom. He's not taking away black people's rights. What is she talking about? And then y'all listening to this show, y'all gotta be in a trance to listen to this show. She just spewed out a lie on TV and they clapped. Where's the fact checkers at for this show? I swear we need fact checkers for this show. We don't need fact checkers only when Donald Trump is there. We need fact checkers for these liberal media stations and The View. This show is wrong, bro. Like meaning wrong, meaning the what she just said is a lie, a straight up lie.
What about seniors? And that is education.
What about seniors? Y'all just throwing in anything. What are y'all?
To me, that is more un-American than worrying about inflation.
So I'm pro-choice. So on the women's right to choose and everything, completely understand that. It's back in the states. Some states get it right. Some states have to make corrections, and to be sure.
Thank you. No one's against abortion, right? There's no national abortion ban going on. All right, that's what he wants to state.
You know, I think a lot of people out there going, well, look, we had him for 4 years. Some of the scary stuff we didn't appreciate and happened. Some of the scary stuff didn't come to fruition. But they just want a fundamental change. So I guess my answer to your question is...
Wouldn't he not be a fundamental change? Wouldn't he be just going back to what we had
Worse.
before?
And a lot of people would tell you that they could pay their bills then, and they would tell you that they didn't have the homelessness crisis then, and that we weren't talking about defunding the police then.
Whoa.
See, look at that. Look at that. And then look at Whoopi Goldberg. She's laughing. She wants to laugh. I can't zoom in, but she wants to all of a sudden laugh because they're booing. He's putting it on the table. Why can't people talk about facts anymore? Why do y'all want to Trump bash all day long? Don't y'all get sick of that? Look at this.
Their bills then, and they would tell you that they didn't have the homelessness crisis then, and that we weren't talking about defunding the police then.
Whoa.
Like, we had a crisis, but not to the level we have. So I'm just saying, other people might put those.
Sonny Hostin pointed to the crowd as if that's supposed to validate the fact that this guy is on here telling the truth. And the lady just lied and said that Trump's trying to take away women's rights and black people's rights. Nobody clapped and booed for that. Who cares about your crowd that y'all got manufactured?